Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And this week, our topic is STOIM for Masterful Manifesting. STOIM stands for Stillness Through Observing Internal Movement. And it is a way in which you can enter the 0 point field and that place of divine intelligence. Some people call it the field, source creator. There's all sorts of names, but the really cool thing in it is that it's a way in which you can connect to the quantum realm, deposit your intentions and desires, and be able to manifest in the 3D world much more gracefully, easily, quicker. So I'll walk you through STOIM, that particular technique, and then talk about how you can apply it to masterful manifesting. And by the way, if you're new to my channel, would love for you to hit the subscribe button and perhaps the notification bell in case you'd like to be notified every time I do a new video. All right, so let's dive in. STOIM, Stillness Through Observing Internal Movement. That is a title that is sort of stuck, so all my students know about it. Now, the background of this is that I knew that there were benefits to meditation, and in fact, right now there's a lot more scientific data sharing the benefits of meditation. However, in decades past, I really resisted meditating, mostly because I really love being productive, and I felt like sitting there for an hour with my eyes closed in a mantra, oming, or thinking about a word, or imagining a candle, or whatever it was that I thought meditation was not a really good use of my time. And then my teacher, back then said, well, just meditate for 10 minutes a day. I started and I gave up at about, day 7. I just could not make myself do it. And the other thing is that some of my other friends who were really good meditators, their lives were no better than mine. In fact, probably worse in many ways. So I'm like, well, what's the point? Because I was very results driven. So I didn't really know, what to do about it except just judge myself as being sucky at meditating. And that was until I came across Frank Kinslow's work, Dr. Frank Kinslow, the Kinslow system. And he talked about, the book that he had was like instant healing or something like that. And I thought, well, gee, I like that term. And basically, using his technique, his 2-point technique, I was going into some sort of zone. And I thought, that's it? That's kind of easy. So I interviewed him a number of times and realized that, hey, I can enter that zone without actually doing this. And talking to him really helped because he talked about how his wife is like the happiest person he knows. And she's all over the place, flitting here, flitting there, busy, busy, busy. And it sounded a lot like me. And he says, absolutely, you do not have to sit there for many, many minutes to get the benefits of meditation. That really attracted me. So because I had experienced this zone using his technique, I thought, well, I could just go there. I don't need to do the technique, right? So I would do that. And after months of practicing that, just for a few minutes at a time, things started to shift in my reality. Like I was luckier, things were easier. I didn't have to work as hard. Like opportunities would just like fall into my lap. Things would just work out really well. I was like, whoa, increase money. I was like, okay. Now, it took me a number of months to realize that I was getting this amazing benefit because it wasn't like some of the people do the technique and all of a sudden, their pain is gone and yada, 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 right? In fact, for me, the first 6 weeks I was doing Frank Kinslow's technique, I think I was in detox. So that wasn't very pleasant, but then I knew what it was because I know divine muscle testing, right? So I could tell what it was and discovered a whole bunch of things and help people clear detox much easier now. So through this technique, stillness through observing internal movement, I could get into the zone much simpler for me. And then I taught it to other people and they found it simpler as well. So then I actually put it in a book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower. It's actually probably the most important chapter of the whole book. And that's chapter 4. Now, today we're talking about STOIM for Masterful Manifesting. So when you do this technique, which I will run through in just a moment, and then apply it to your ideal new reality, that is when things get super interesting. Because I used to think, I don't know about you, but when I was listening to the law of attraction teachers right after the movie The Secret, 2006, etc., the perception I had, which is incorrect, but the perception I had at the time was that I have to stay positive. How many of you heard that one, right? Stay positive, think positive, release your negative emotions, stay positive to manifest positive things. But during the day, it was like almost impossible to stay positive and be happy like 24/7. It just didn't happen. Human things happen, human emotions happen. So I thought, geez, I must be manifesting really crappy stuff. Because I thought it was some sort of 1-to-1 ratio. This amount of positivity, you get this amount of manifestation, right? Again, it was a misperception on my part years ago. And now I realize that, oh, there are shortcuts here. And I'm going to share one of those shortcuts for you today. Okay, so when we visit the 0 point field, there are many different doorways to there where you can deposit your ideal reality, that frequency, that blueprint, if you will. The way I do it is through the body. So that's why it's called stillness through observing internal movement in the body. And for many people, it's one of the easiest ways to get into a meditative state without sitting there with your eyes closed going om and, holding a mudra. Now, if you do like to do that, continue to do that. If it works for you, continue to do that. It didn't work for me, and that's why I went to all these avenues to find something simpler and easier. The other thing I noticed is that I can do this for seconds at a time, and I can do it, quote unquote, even when I'm talking, doing things. And yes, I'm doing it right now. So the more we, quote unquote, do or be in that being state, that still point, that 0 point field, the more we are in the flow of life and the more we're able to manifest what it is we desire and much less of what it is we don't desire. I mean, we still get challenges, don't get me wrong, for sure, but we overcome those challenges and obstacles with greater ease and intuitive awareness. That's the other benefit of doing this still point, stillness through observing internal movement, is that when you're in that place of being, the intelligence drops in some intuitive data, if you will, guidance. Other people call it guidance, and that's super, super useful. And even when I have a day where it's very, very challenging or difficult, which I don't seem to have a lot these days, anyway, but at least not my perception, when I go into that place of beingness, what to do about it just drops in, and that's living more and more in that grace. Right? So I'd love for you to experience that more than ever before. So step 1 here is to learn how to get in to the still point. So I'm going to review that. And then step 2 is having some sort of scene in your mind that you would like to manifest in the future. And step 3 is our little secret for today, which I'm going to kind of get you on that STOIM for steroids, that extra little boost to help you along your way. All right, so are you ready? Let's go ahead and do stillness through observing internal movement. The first thing, especially for beginners, is to just move the body. So you can shake your hands. I like rubbing your hands together. Sometimes you can just jump up and down, just get some qi, which is the Chinese word for vital force, and energy going. And once you do, you can then settle down. If you want to, close your eyes so you can focus on the inside. Focus on the inside of your body underneath the level of the skin. Feel any movement, after you've done that. Usually there's heat and movement, waves, tingles, just feel that and then follow the flow wherever it goes. Perhaps it goes up the arm, perhaps it goes down the legs, perhaps you feel some vibration in your feet or your head or whatever. It doesn't really matter where it is. You don't have to make it go anywhere. Just observe it. Just observe it without judgment wherever it is. Give your mind something to do. So you're focusing on the inside of your body, feeling the pulsations, the waves, the tingles. And pretty much that is it. That is it. So see if you can open your eyes, if your eyes were closed, and you can still listen to my voice and see what happens to the movement inside your body. Sometimes as the sound comes through, there's a little wave in your body, perhaps, if you're able to feel that. Sensitive souls, especially those that are very clairsentient, can feel a lot in their bodies, and this helps them harness that particular gift or superpower, so they can use it for positive purposes instead of being at the whim of whoever stuff they're feeling. So now that you have an idea of stillness through observing total movement, then the second thing is envisioning your ideal future reality. And here's the trick. Pick one scene from that future ideal reality. And then you're going to use your senses to imagine that reality as if it's happening right now in your body, and feel it in your body. See what you're seeing 360 degrees around you. What are you hearing, in your environment? What are you smelling? Are there smells there? What are you feeling on your face? Is there like, a sea breeze, or is there like sun? The warmth, the temperature, all that kind of stuff. What are you tasting? Maybe you're eating something, you're drinking something. Maybe you're in you're drinking a margarita. Not that I drink, but whatever it is that people do, right? So you're really making the scene as real as possible and experiencing it in the body. And then the pièce de résistance is to feel the gratitude and the joy of being in your new reality. Really like bring it up. Like, how would it be in this moment, experiencing it right now? And that's STOIM for Masterful Manifesting, using all of your senses and your clairsentience, your body, to be in that vibration. You're literally in the quantum setting the blueprint for that reality to manifest. And usually the universe is very creative, so it manifests it in a way better than even you can imagine. Step 3 of this STOIM for Masterful Manifesting is my little extra boost or secret. Well, it's not really a secret, but we'll call it that for now. And that is that when you have already deposited this scene, and you can do several scenes, right? You can do a minute here, and then tomorrow do a different scene in the same same ideal reality, so on and so forth. Instead of thinking that you have to keep meditating on this scene over and over and over again, minutes and minutes and minutes or hours per day, you don't. Because once you go into the still point and you feel 360 degrees of that new reality in your body, you have now deposited that blueprint in the still point. Then outside the rest of your day, outside the still point, if you will, anytime you go back into the still point by feeling the vibration or movement in your body, you're reinforcing that positive blueprint that you're putting in there. And if there is something in your environment, like a sudden loud noise, helicopters, your husband or wife who's addicted to the news is watching the news, and you're hearing all this so-called negative stuff, and you don't want to go into a negative vibe, or maybe you're like me and you're watching a really exciting movie, maybe even a scary movie. What you can do is you can take the vibe of whatever it is, even if it's negative, even if it's anger, or fear or sadness, take that vibe and accept it, meaning that you're feeling it anyway, and you're just like, oh, I don't feel it, right? Instead, by accepting it and feel that vibe. What does fear feel like in my body right now? What does that loud sound feel like in that baby crying, that yelling on the TV, the news report, whatever it is, you don't have to be afraid of it. You don't have to block it, right? It takes a lot of energy to block stuff like that, especially if you're a sensitive soul. Instead, you're just going to feel it in the body. You're not going to hold on to it, but you're just going to feel it. Allow it to just, that's interesting. Wow. With that newscast, I'm like, ooh, there's some vibration over here. And then, wow, that really loud thunder just shook me and I felt it all over. Wow, right? And you're just observing that. And here's the cool thing. When you're embodied, when you're in that moment, in the present moment, in your body, feeling whatever you're feeling, again, you're reinforcing that beautiful dream that you have deposited already in the quantum field. So don't worry about, having to protect yourself from negative stuff. Now, of course, it can be wearing on you to hear negative stuff 24/7, right? But sometimes it's unavoidable. Certain things are unavoidable. And so you do the best you can to be in a serene environment. But when you can't, you can still use that to help manifest your greatest dreams. So that is the tip, and that is the little secret of extra little boost of STOIM for Masterful Manifesting. So you can get more details of the actual original procedure or technique in the book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower. So I'll link that below this video. And today, if you'd like to receive a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation, what we're going to do is help you remove, dissolve, uncreate any blocks that are preventing you from potentially, first of all, seeing, feeling all your ideal new reality, and also your willingness to actually feel whatever's going on and not take it personally, not hang on to it, the negativity or whatever, just to allow and honor just your body and whatever it's feeling, knowing full well that that is actually going to help you, not harm you, and help you manifest the life of your dreams. So if you'd like to receive, just take the make the intention to receive. I will speak the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive, and if you'd like to, you can go ahead and be in the body again. Feel the energy or the pulsing in the body. I now command anything preventing you from fully being willing to be fully embodied, to manifest the life of your dreams in this and all their lifetimes, be completely healed and resolved in the highest and best way in whatever orders for the highest and greatest good in all timelines where you exist. Thank you. It's now commanded that whatever is preventing you from fully being willing to even imagine your ideal future reality and be able to and willing to feel, hear, see, touch, smell, taste that new reality and practice that from time to time. It's now commanded all of that be completely healed and resolved in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with speed, ease, and grace. Awesome. So I'd love for you to give me some feedback on how that all was for you, and let me know if you practiced STOIM for Masterful Manifesting, what that was like. So go ahead and put some comments underneath. I love reading and connecting with you through the comments in on the video platform, wherever you are watching this, whether it be YouTube, Odyssey, or wherever. And I do have some announcements for this week. Now, Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show airing at 12 noon Eastern. I have the wonderful Heidi Connolly, and her book, Elevating Your HSP NESS, N-E-S-S. So that is so much like a sister book to my Sensitivity is Your Superpower. When we had this conversation, it was like we were soul sisters. It was really interesting, you know? And what's really fascinating about her, which is very different from my experience, is that she has authored 3 books with her deceased husband. Yes, her deceased husband. She can hear him. And yeah, and so she's had a really transformative journey, and really now honoring that highly sensitive person within and helping others to do the same. So we're going to talk about discovering your unique energetic signature, about mastering your emotions with the psychic octopus. That was so cool. And a little bit about this template contract to tell your God team what you are willing to handle. Yes, that is worth much more than the price of the book. So definitely get the book. And so it is airing on Monday at 12 noon. Definitely be there to listen to the show. Or if you can't make it, go ahead and just click the link, bookmark it, and so you can listen to it later and get a copy of her book. And the nice thing is that she has decided to gift us 20% off as of, the Monday, July 24th, for 3 days of her offerings. So if you like what you hear, definitely take her up on the offer, which is very, very generous and beautiful. So a couple other announcements. Number 1, on Wednesday in the Health Freedom Tribe, I have the great honor of hosting as our guest Holly Hollowell, Anahata, she's often called. She's going to teach us how to do water bending with a Lemurian crystal and water and blessings, and she has some amazing stories about people who have completely transformed as that crystal has scanned the body and what you need and placed in water and then drinking that water. So she's going to give us a step-by-step on exactly what that is and some stories from real life of how that has benefited herself and her tribe, how to manifest better that way, how to get a healing that way. So that is Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. And if you are a member of the Health Freedom Tribe, that is absolutely free for you. And if you can't make it live, again, it's going to be recorded and the replay posted. And if you're not a member of Health Freedom Tribe, but are a Health Freedom Champion, I highly recommend that you join now. It's just $33 a month. And we have guest speakers on a regular basis now. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. We get to chat every single week about what's going on with you and what's going on in the world, right? So, so check out the link below and see if you'd like to be part of the Health Freedom Tribe. The other announcement we have is my friend 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗧 once a year does a pendulum dowsing class. And in fact, I took it last year because I thought, well, I'm okay at it, but not an expert. I'd like to be more masterful at pendulum, just because I choose to, not because I need to, because my divine muscle testing is so good. And it was a fantastic class. We had so many people from our community take it. And then I asked Tammy, can you teach this more often? And the answer was no. So it's only once a year, guys. And it's like, oh my gosh, such a great value. It's a fantastic workshop. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to use the pendulum for dowsing at a masterful level, definitely check out her workshop. So I'm going to link the affiliate link down below. And so I think you're going to really, really love the class. I know I did last year. So that's the announcements for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, please put in the comments what happened with you. Are you going to practice STOIM for masterful manifesting? What results did you feel after the activation? And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you think who might really enjoy this content. All right, until next time, big love to you. Bye for now, and have a wonderful rest of your week.